Hello everybody, this is my WorldCon book haul. All the books that I bought in bookstores in Dublin and then things I got at the actual convention. The first day I was in Dublin for the World Science Fiction Convention, Bree and I had to kill time around Dublin before we were allowed to check into our hotel room, so we scoped out some places that we ended up going back to on the second day with a larger group of people. But I could not resist on that first day when we went to the Hodges Figgis bookstore. It was an amazing bookstore. It had an excellent SFF section. On the first day when I went there for the first time to the actual bookstore, I got 3 books. The first one was one that I was really looking for, and that is To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers. This is her new standalone novella that just came out, and I really wanted this edition of it because it's the beautiful UK edition, and the US covers for Becky Chambers are nowhere near as gorgeous as this. The other 2 books that I picked up I've already read. I got a copy of Fools by Pat Cadigan, which is now in the SF Masterworks collection from Golance. I read this book a couple of years ago for one of the A to Z readathons, I think, but this was kind of a trippy book. I really enjoyed it, even though I found it devilishly confusing in places. It is probably one of my favorite things I've read by Pat Cadigan. And I was so happy they had all of the Discworld hardcovers by Terry Pratchett, the books that look like this. I am definitely going to upgrade some of my Discworld books to these hardcovers. You can get them for pretty cheap on Book Depository sometimes, but I wanted to actually see them in person and see if I liked the design and everything, and they're actually really nice and readable and clean inside, so I'll be getting more of these. I only got one. This is Hogfather because it's one of my favorite Discworld books, one of my favorite death books actually, and the mass market paperback I have is really, really gross, so needed a replacement, and I will be getting more of these in the future. Then on my second day in Dublin, I went back to Hodges Figgis with a larger group of people and I got another 3 books. I grabbed Dreaming in Smoke by Tricia Sullivan, which is also now out in the SF Masterworks line this year. I read this 2-ish years ago when I was doing my Clark Award project. I thought it had some fascinating ideas in it, fascinating world building. I remember being slightly irritated by the main character, but otherwise impressed enough with the book. I definitely thought I should add it to my collection. Eventually I'll read some more stuff by Tricia Sullivan, but yeah. So I got that. And then I got another SF masterwork that I had been looking for specifically, and that is More Than Human by Theodore Sturgeon. Early in the year, I read 2 of his older books, The Dreaming Jewels and The Medusa something or other. It's really early in the morning, I can't remember what they were called, but I read those and thought they were extremely interesting, especially given that they were published in like the 50s and 60s and stuff, so I really wanted to get More Than Human, which I think is his only novel in the SF Masterworks line itself, at least so far. So I have this now. I should probably read on the back what this one is about because I really don't know. A mysterious collection of misfits becomes very different from the rest of humanity. It says, this intensely written and moving novel is an extraordinary vision of humanity's next step. I'm not really sure what this will be about, but I have found so far that I really enjoy just the way that Sturgeon draws his characters, makes these people real, and I've especially appreciated the way that he's written some of his female characters, which is really refreshing for older science fiction. And then the other book I got at Hodges Figgis is Shul Arun, The Girl from the Other Side, Volume 1 by Nagabe. This is both written and illustrated by Nagabe. This is a manga series that I've heard Rhea from the Bookfinch talk about. I think Maya as well, and maybe also Kelsey, and they were all there. But anyway, I was looking for this, I wanted it. I read this last night actually. I worked it into my Newts readathon TBR at the last minute. I really love this. It's about this little girl who's living with like this monster called an outsider, and their relationship, how this thing is taking care of her and she's expecting people to come get her, like her village has been decimated by something, It was very intriguing. I read it, loved it, and I've already ordered the next 2 volumes because I couldn't help myself. I want to continue reading so much. And then on that day, on the second day I was there, we also went into the Winding Stair, and I only got one thing there. I saw one of these little penguin little black classics. I'd never seen one in person before, and they're so cute and so tiny and so cheap. So I got A Terrible Beauty is Born by W.B. Yeats. It's just a little tiny poetry collection, and I wanted to get some poetry while I was there. So yeah, they didn't have many of these. I thought I should get one. And then I went to the dealer's room at WorldCon. There were some fantastic booksellers there. Once again, Hodges Figgis had a booth there. A bunch of publishers, including Gollancz, were there, and just there was such an amazing selection of books. But from the Gollancz booth, I picked up one thing, and that is A Native Tongue by Suzette, Haden, Elgin. This is really, really new in the SF Masterworks line. I think it just came out, like even maybe a couple days early. They released it at WorldCon. I grabbed this sucker as soon as I saw it. I was really excited. So I'll read the back of this one as well. In 2205, the 19th Amendment has long been repealed and women are only valued for their utility. It's gonna be one of those books, guys. The Earth's economy depends on an insular group of linguists who breed women to be perfect interstellar translators until they are sent to the barren house to await death. Nazareth, the most talented linguist of her family, is exhausted by her constant work translating for the government and longs to retire. What she does not yet know is that a revolution is going on in the barren houses. There, word by word, women are creating a language of their own to free them from men's domination. So while I don't necessarily want to read really depressing stuff about women having their rights taken away from them, this has to do with language and translation, and I guess language as a tool of revolution, and that sounds fascinating. It says on the back here that the author was born Patricia Ann Wilkins, which actually that name sounds familiar to me. She was also a linguist. Well, cool. Yeah, okay, this sounds very interesting now. I need to read this soon. This is The Rift by Nina Allan. I haven't read this. I love her writing style. I've read a couple of her short stories as well, and they just draw me straight in. There's something about her language, her phrasing that I love. So I've wanted to read The Rift for a while. I know she's got a newer book out, but I did not see it at the convention, sadly. I think it's called The Dollmaker or something like that. This is one I've been trying to get in the US, but my library systems won't get it for some reason, so I had to get a copy, and don't know what it's about, but I plan on going into this one pretty blind. 12th Planet Press had a booth there, which was really exciting. I could have gotten a lot of things. I actually had some of their stuff on ebook, but it was a toss-up between getting Letters to Tiptree and Luminescent Threads, and I decided to get Letters to Tiptree because I've wanted to read this book for years, like really. This book is edited by Alexandra Pierce and Alisa Krasnostein, and it is a collection of letters or like essays from various authors to and about James Tiptree Jr. and her legacy and science fiction, how she shaped these authors and stuff, and yeah. I don't remember if this book won a Hugo Award, but it was nominated in the Best Related Work category a couple of years ago, and I've wanted to read it ever since then, so yay, yay, yay. This is an anthology called Never Stop, Finnish Science Fiction and Fantasy Stories, selected by Emmi Itaranta. I mainly got this because it has Itaranta's name on it, and yay, but these stories are all translated from Finnish. People in this that I recognize, very, very few of them, actually. I should have sat down and had like Rhea or Maya tell me how to pronounce a lot of these names. I'm not going to try to do it right now. But yeah, there'll be a lot of new to me authors in this collection. I was really excited to see it. Who is this published by? I cannot remember. Oh, Suskuma Publishing? I don't recognize the name of that, but they had a booth there and it was really cool. And then I got 2 freebies. One of them is Intelligence, Artificial and Human, 8 Science Fiction Tales by Japanese Authors. This was a freebie like they're handing out at the Japanese booth, and it has a story in it from Taiyo Fuji. This also has a story in it by Juji Hayashi, and I really, really want to read that. They must be very short stories because this is more of like a pamphlet than a book. And the last thing I got is Giants at the End of the World, a showcase of Finnish weird, edited by Johanna Sinisalo and Toni Jerrman. This is a book that Maya brought me. Apparently it was a freebie in Helsinki at the WorldCon there, and she was done with it, and so she gave her copy to me. So thank you, Maya. This one also has people in it that I really wanted to read more by Pasi Ilmari Jaskalainen, and oh goodness, I hope I actually pronounced that one right, Maria Turchaninov, Johanna Sinisalo, Emmi Itaranta, Anne Leinonen, Hanu Rajaniemi, Lena Likitalo. They all have stories in this amongst others, so looking forward to this as well. So I went through that really fast it seems, but yeah, 13 books. A bunch of them I haven't read yet, which means I've completely destroyed my progress in whittling down my physical TBR. I'm back up probably to more than 60 books on my physical TBR, but you know what? It was worth it. I got things that I think I'm really gonna enjoy, and I was so excited when I was book shopping. It was really great. So let me know if you have read any of these, if you think I should prioritize any of them. Leave me some comments down below. Let me know if you also ran across any exciting books when you were at WorldCon or in Dublin around the area. And yeah, that is it for me. I'll be back to talk to you again soon, and until then, bye.